So, we will begin with our Shanti Mantra. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunattu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Tat Sat. So, then make yes, right. So for today's class, we have a beautiful question. I don't know who asked, but it's a very practical question that is daunting for almost everyone who comes to Vedanta. And this is what the entire Vedanta sadhana of Manana and Nididhyasana is meant to take care. So the question is this: we are taught we are not the BMI, body, mind, intellect, the typical Swami Chinmayananda school style of presenting it, but it's nice. Body, mind, BMI, it's a wonderful methodology. These acronyms, they're very useful. We are taught we are not the body, mind, intellect, but Atman or soul. I will come to that, comma, which is said to be beyond understanding by the use of senses, mind, and intellect. Then, how to think about and meditate on the Atman? And what speech and behavioral changes we should make, or what such changes the meditation on Atman would bring about? So it's a very practical question. Wonderful. So we will deal with that part by part. First, let me clarify the terms. So we have two categories. There is this body, mind, intellect, which we understand, which we can objectify, which you can relate with. And then the Shastra talks about this Atman, which is mentioned or indicated through the word soul. The word soul is used in so many contexts. Okay, so what we need to do now here is this qualifying. He says, which is said to be beyond the understanding by the senses, mind, and the intellect. So here, the word Atman, just like the word soul, the word Atman, Atma, in Sanskrit is also handled in so many different ways with so many different meanings based on the context. Similarly, the English word soul is handled differently in the normal literature, in the Western literature, and also in Western philosophy, or it just considered as the core of something. It depends on the usage, again contextual usage. In loose discourse, when we say, the soul has left the body, we say, right? The soul has left the body here means what? And that is it what is being talked about here? No. Because they say this person has left the body, and then after that there are these people who are called mediums, who call this disembodied spirit back into the body of their own body, and then they let that spirit talk through them, and then it tells them a lot of information, right? So the spirit has a mind. The spirit seems to have some mind. And also from our Shastra, we know that this reincarnating individual, when the individual leaves the body and goes and takes another birth, etc., that we talk about, or travels to Pitru Loka, all that is talked about in Garuda Purana, and general talk about reincarnation. Or even if you go to those monogamous Abrahamic religions which talk about soul going to heaven or hell, you go to heaven, you will meet all your relatives there. They have their own thing. So this is the individual which is residing in the body, who leaves the body, and who is supposed to go through reincarnation or not, or whatever. Right. Now, this is the body minus the mind. It is actually the mind, intellect, and in our understanding, we know about prana and all that. So it is the mind, intellect, along with some prana, leaves the body. In chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita, there is a mention about that. How it leaves the body, like how the wind carries the smell of the flower and goes away. Like that, the mind, along with the senses and the prana, is taken, it leaves the body and goes at the time of death, right? That is there. So, that kind of disembodied spirit, when it is indicated as the soul, in Tamil we say Atma, avaruடைய Atma, let his Atma attain Shanti, we say, when somebody dies, we say, for his Atma Shanti. Then also we are talking about this reincarnating individual soul. The technical word for this is Jiva, right? So here in this question, what the word Atma or soul means is not this individual, it is that power of consciousness because of which the individual functions, that which makes the mind and the intellect shine, that it makes the mind and the intellect work. So that is what we are talking about, right? So that is Atma. So Atma, in this context, we have to understand Atma and Jiva, and here we are talking about Atma, not the Jiva. The technical is the technical word. So now the entire inquiry into Atma is what the whole Vedanta is about, which we cannot complete in this 1 hour. But what I can try to do is, we will deal with the knowledge, right? This knowledge of the self, when they talk about that, if it is beyond understanding, then how to deal with it, right? So that is the question. And what speech and behavioral changes we should make in order to meditate on Atman, or if we should make in order to arrive at Atma, or if we meditate on Atman, will that bring any changes in our speech and behavior? How to think about and meditate on the Atma? Okay. Now, let us think about ourselves. So we are always starting from where we are. So that has been our approach. So even for liberation, we said we are starting by understanding the nature of bondage. Right. Now, the body, mind, intellect. There are two methodologies which are followed in the tradition. Two distinct methodologies. Very, very clear, unambiguous approach. It's called Panchakosha Prakriya and Avasthatraya Prakriya, which is the 5 levels of embodiment, Panchakosha, and Avasthatraya, the 3 domains of experience, waking, dream, and sleep. Panchakosha is the physical self, experience of the self. Pranamaya, Annamaya, This is made of food, so physical, right? Physical body, Annamaya. Then Pranamaya, which comprises of the urges and the forces in the system, Pranamaya. Then Manomaya, thoughts, emotions, etc., and information matrix, memory. Vijnanamaya, which is the thinking faculty and the will to do, the sense of doership, all that, which is generally translated as the intellectual sheath. You can say the intellect is one part of it. Yeah, it's predominantly intellect, so you can say that. And Anandamaya, which is the one sense of oneself as the experiencer, the bhokta, the which is formed of the power of ignorance. Anandamaya here in the sense because the tangible experience of happiness which we experience when a desire is satisfied, or when the senses meet their objects, or when the mind meets its ideal. Every time when a desire is satisfied, we experience a very tangible thing called happiness. This all of us know, because through that happiness that we all understand, we know from our experience, to be able, and that experience happens at this level called Anandamaya Kosha, where you are the bhokta. Basically, you are that is the core of your individuality, which is the master of the intellect. The intellect serves the Anandamaya. The karta, the doership in us, is activated by the bhokta, the desirer. You want something, and because of that, you do something. Right? So this is more fundamental than it's a more fundamental level of individuality than the thinker and the doer. So this Anandamaya, so that we can relate with this. It doesn't mean the sheath of bliss, the blissful sheath, the spiritual body. These are all wrong translations. It's blissful because it is free from all the other objective experiences which are fundamentally nothing but struggle. All the mind experiences are not there in Anandamaya. Because you are free from all the stress of life, it is Anandamaya. That is how it is. It's like telling, I slept blissfully. That doesn't mean in deep sleep you are all, you are having a party there. No. In deep sleep, you are peaceful, serene, silent, free from all the good and bad. You are free from all the things that make you struggle. There is no struggle in deep sleep. That is absolute peace. That is why everybody wants deep sleep. Even one day we don't sleep properly, we cannot continue in a sane manner. So Anandamaya, it is called. It's a way of saying so that we can relate through our everyday experience. See, all the terms that are used in the Vedanta is meant for making us realize our true nature simply through the analysis of our waking state, dream, and sleep experience. You don't need a special altered state of consciousness, right? This is extremely important here, because here there is a statement in this question which says, if it is beyond the body, mind, and intellect, how to meditate on it? This question is the root of all the trouble in the moksha industry. All kinds of shops that sell mystic experiences, including cannabis samadhi and ayahuasca samadhi. That is the latest nonsense going on. So in Europe, everybody is taking a trip to Peru to do this ayahuasca ritual, where you get self-realization. Something like what you are doing, your deepest thing, your purpose in life. You experience another dimension. All this talk goes on. Then there is this, people with other psychedelics like lysergic acid and all that, psilocybin, a few things are there. DMT. DMT is the one with ayahuasca, yeah. So we have all these things that are supposed to alter the consciousness in some bars in Netherlands. In Amsterdam, you go, you can get all these mystic experiences. No need to do any sadhana, kundalini, nothing. You get all these experiences. Similar, very similar experience. That's what they say. From the way they describe, that's how it is. So there is a hunt for that through psychedelics, and then there is a lot of talk about them experiencing another dimension, which is all not true, because it is not the same as yoga siddhi. We see in our Vedanta, when we are talking about this, we are dismissing the essentialness of the necessity of mystic experiences for the sake of self-realization. We are dismissing that in the context of yoga. We are dismissing that in the context of yoga and tantra, where you get actual workable powers. A person who experiences some altered kundalini samadhis, etc., develops certain psychic abilities with which they can do some real, they can cause some real trouble, in a good way or in a bad way. They can influence things. They get some real workable powers, right? Not like the drug experiences where you only lose money and you come back, worse than how you went. Or you come back a little transformed. Okay, you clear some depression with some soft drugs. Yeah, that is true. That has been proven. Okay, but then you don't have any say on the actual reality. You are only having some altered brain state which stays for some time and goes, and you're back to the same square one. So nothing changes, right? So here it's not like that. The mystic experiences from yoga, tantra, you are really developing some skill sets with which you can do some things, right? Psychic skills. So that we are dismissing. We are just telling that it is not necessary for self-realization. If you want to develop those powers, you want to have those experiences for fun or whatever reason, please go and have them. But don't tell me that I need to experience some altered fourth level of consciousness, fifth level of consciousness. All these things are not necessary for self-realization. The Shastra of Vedanta, if studied properly, can reveal yourself to you just by the analysis of waking state, dream state, and sleep, which everybody experiences. Through the everyday experiences, simple what experience we are having of life given by our natural disposition is sufficient for self-realization, right? So that's why I'm coming. So how to meditate on the Atma, which is beyond body, mind, and intellect? First thing, get rid of the marketing. Don't fall for the marketing that asks you for extraordinary experiences that are beyond the mind, right? So no need to look for beyond the mind experience. One. Two, when you say Atma is beyond, cannot be understood by the body, mind, senses, or the intellect, what does it mean? It is something like this. I can see the objects around me, but I cannot see my own eye. You can say you will see it in a mirror. Great. You will see it in a mirror. You are only seeing the reflection. You are not. You are through the reflection. You are forming an idea about how your eye is, but you are not seeing your own eye like how you see another person's eye. It's very simple. In the same way, you keep on going to the, like there is a text called Drishya Viveka, which keeps on going backwards towards the perceiver. It is discriminating or separating the perceiver from the perceived. Drishya is what is perceived. Drik is that which perceives. Right? The object is seen, the eye is the seer. The eye is recognized, objectified, seen, okay, I have an eye. I close the eye, I'm not able to see. When I open the eye, I'm able to see. So I'm able to objectify the eye. If I close my eye, I see some black something in behind the eyes. Or if I press my eye, I see some colors. If somebody switches on the light and switches off the light, I'm able to see something. Yeah. So I am aware of the visual faculty. So then I say the visual faculty, eye becomes the seen and the mind becomes the seer. Then I recognize the seeing. I see that I am seeing. I am able to understand that I have an eye. I have a visual faculty. I understand the seeing itself. I am able to see the eye. I'm able to recognize that in my understanding. Right. Then that becomes the seen, and me, the one who understands this, the intellect becomes the seer. Like that, it goes on, and then ultimately it stops with a point from where you cannot objectify. You know you are there. You exist. You recognize that you exist. Right now, you exist. You recognize that. Even to say, I don't exist, I am nothing, you will have to be there. Only with that, you are able to say that, or even feel that, or think that. So when you say, I am, right? Like for example, I'll give a small example. Somebody is looking at the family pictures, some marriage album. In those days, they used to have this marriage. What also is there? Nowadays, also you have marriage album. So they are looking at the marriage album, and you are doing something, in your room somewhere, and somebody is sitting in the living room, and they are going through the marriage album. And then in some photo, they are recognizing you in some nice dress or whatever, and they are mentioning you by the name. Hey, hey, hey! Look at him here. He looks so nice, or he looks. Oh, look at this funny face he's making. Something they tell about you. You are working in some other room, and suddenly from inside you have, oh, they are talking about me. That sense of self. I am. Oh, this is about me. Hey, you are talking about me. Wait, I'm coming. You say that and go. But in 1 second, before you move, before you say, I want to go and look, before you form a concept, there is 1 second where the sense of I comes forth. Because of they are invoking your sense of self from you by making some comment which is part of the self concept that you have. Or your name, they tell your name, somebody calls by your name, then you see. So for example, there is one, let us say Ramu is a very common name. You go in a crowd, somebody says, hey Ramu, then immediately all the Ramu will think he is being called. Immediately the name invokes the sense of self. Me. Right? Now, this sense of self is having two things. It is having the self-awareness, I am, and it is combined with the idea of what is this I am. It is I am plus label. This means me. Correct? So, you are wearing it happens in many levels. This sense of I am is labeled in many levels. That is what this Panchakosha is about. I am creating a label over the sense of I am with respect to the body or the clothes. We'll start from the clothes I am wearing. So they will say, hey, the blue shirt guy, then you're wearing, everybody's looking, oh, I'm wearing blue shirt. They're calling you, right? So you're developing a temporary sense. Yesterday it was a red shirt guy. Today you are a blue shirt guy. Tomorrow you may be a brown shirt guy. Right? So temporarily that label. Right? These are all very easy things to work with. Now take one step subtler at the body. Like you go and stand in front of the mirror, you say, this is me. Oh, I look good. Oh man, I have become fat. Oh, my six pack is good. Or I have nice shoulders. Maybe I should do a small plastic surgery and correct my nose like Shri Devi. whatever. You look at yourself in the mirror, you have a feeling this is me. I'm looking at myself. Now, if you very carefully look at that, you can even do this as a meditation. How to meditate on the self. Now, with respect to the Annamaya Kosha, you stand in front of the mirror, see that sense of self coming up with respect to the image that is shown in the mirror. So that is your awareness of yourself with respect to the body, and through the label, you are understanding yourself through the label of I am this body, right? So that is the label. So I am, when your sense of I is invoked and experienced in the within the context of the body, but you forget that this is the context, but you take the context to be yourself. This happens even in our everyday life. This sense of this labeling of the self happens in so many levels. So this is at the body level. Now, next, at the prana level, for example, I am hungry, I am thirsty. This is happening at the pranamaya kosha, right? I am hungry, I am thirsty, I am tired, I am very energetic, all this. Right? Where a state of the energy level, your vibe level, energy level, or whatever, the way the different urges, this is called the vital sheath or the pranamaya. We have a very sophisticated understanding of the individuality. So just you don't have to go too much technical into that. Just for our sake of inquiry, right? So at the level of the urges, you create a label on yourself. You are experience. You say I am hungry. It's a way of saying, but actually the fact is there is hunger. There is hunger is understood and processed as I am hungry because you are associated with the body that is hungry. The urge is experienced by you through your mind, intellect, and all that. You are taking this experiencer as yourself. Oh, yeah. Are you the hungry person? Yes, I am the. Who is hungry? They ask. Then you raise your hand. Correct. Now, you, are you the hungry person? Yes. Okay. After the last meal, yesterday when you had a nice puliodare, you are not hungry. After puliodare, you are very satiated. You are very happy. Then you said that time, you said, are you hungry? You said, no, no. But now you are telling you are hungry. So you are hungry or you are not hungry? Yeah, then I was hungry, not hungry, but now I am again hungry. So you understand that. You understand that you are not the hungry person. The hungry person comes and goes. It is the hunger state. It is the body that is hungry, the body that is free from hunger, again hungry, free from hunger. You understand when you are think about it, you understand. But in that moment, you say, I am hungry. Your sense of self is completely defined by that hunger. Right? Now, the hunger, suppose if it is repeated, unfortunately, because of some bad karma and because of laziness or because of social inequality, whatever be the reason, you happen to get hungry very often. You don't have money for food, right? There are a lot of people like that, unfortunately. So now, then, you say, I am always hungry. You are constantly experiencing yourself in an intense manner in the context of hunger. So you are always a hungry person. So I am always hungry. So then that's how you know yourself. Now, how do you know yourself from your childhood? Everybody will have a story. No, I was always that person craving for sweets. They will say, I was always the person answering the question first in the class. Like this, each one will have. I was always so like that. One identity is created. This is with respect to the hunger, thirst, etc. It's called pranamaya atma. The pranamaya. At the pranamaya level, we are experiencing the self, labeling ourselves. Then manomaya, I am aware, I am not aware. I am concentrated, I am distracted, I am very hazy. After COVID, everybody is dizzy. They say, I feel very dizzy. Oh, I feel very focused now. I feel very motivated now. All this is manomaya, the mind or the chitta level. You are experiencing yourself. You are labeling yourself through the states of the mind. Then intellect. I understand. You say, what is 2 plus 2? Immediately your mind says 4. Oh, I know what is 2 plus 2. Right. So how many of you know what is 2 plus 2? You say, I know. How many of you know to program in C++? A few people will raise their hand. How many? Some will say, I don't know. So you form this idea of I know, I don't know. I want, I don't want. I will do this, I will not do this. All this is happening with respect to the will. It's called Vijnanamaya, Vijnanamayatma, intellect. Okay. So now I am creating the sense of self with respect to the qualities of intellect. The qualities of intellect are used as a label on my sense of self. So if I analyze very carefully, in all these levels, I see that these labels keep on changing. Now you have different roles. If you are going with your child, you are a father or mother. So if you are going to the school parents teachers meeting, somebody will say, who are you? You will say, I am so and so's father, I am so and so's mother. If you are going to your office, some corporate meeting where many companies come, then you present yourself, hey, you are, yeah, I am with such and such company. Then you say, I am the so and so of that company. Right. Within your company, your role comes. And with respect to your spouse, your relationship, you say you are a husband or wife. With respect to your parents, you say you are a son or a daughter. So the moment you go in front of the context, the sense of habituated sense of self, here is where is the main catch. This is the key point that we need to understand for the sake of meditating on the Atman, which I will tell how to do it. The habituated sense of self, the habituated labeling of the self pops up, is invoked in a context based on my conditioning in that context. My conditioning in that context is called vasana or samskara. Because of my samskara, my habituation and my vasana and my tendency, that context invokes the labeled self that I am habituated to with respect to that context. Right? Every situation will make me feel about myself in a certain way. Myself in a movie that I like it. In a movie that I don't like, oh, I did not like, I am experiencing dislike. I am the disliker of this movie. I like this movie. I love that music. I hate that music. Right. So based on me as the experiencer, the one who likes, one who doesn't like, the one who does this, one who doesn't do this, one who knows this, one who doesn't know this. What is 375 plus 4,842? For 1 second, you don't know. You are probing it. Right? So you are experiencing not knowing. Right? 3 plus 7, immediately 10. You are experiencing knowing. Right? Now, do you know when I say now you are experiencing knowing, but if I ask you, did you know it? You will say, yes, I knew it. Now, there are two things happening here. In every context, be it physical, pranic, mental, intellectual, or me as the experiencer, in every context, similarly, in every context in waking state, every context in the dream, you say, in the dream, I was in Switzerland. When I wake up, I am in the middle of Dharavi slum in Mumbai. Right? Now, King Janaka had this. He in the dream, all his palace and everything was gone, and he was walking hungry in a forest and thirsty. And then some tiger was about to attack him. Then he suddenly wakes up. He realizes he's in the comfort of the palace. With all the he dozed off when they were giving him some massage, and then and he was very comfortable in a velvet couch with all these attendants and everything. Then he got this question, that is true or this is true. It took him, you know, this question became extremely important for him. Everybody thought king was mad. Then sage Ashtavakra had to come and, you know, solve it for him. Now, so that is true or this is true. That is true or this is true. You know, we also have that. We have a very intense and vivid, lucid dream like kind of thing. You know, we have a very intense dream and then we wake up in the morning. The impact of the dream is still in our body. You know, we can still feel the sensations we experienced in the dream. We are awake. You know, we are not fully. We are awake into the waking zone. We are aware in this space, but still we have the residual effect of the dream. We are a little bit in the dream, kind of emotionally, and we are a little bit here. Then there is a process of waking up. It's called groggy. You are a little groggy, and then you wake up fully. And then you say, now I am really awake. Maybe after a coffee, or, you know, after doing some exercise, or after having some water and looking around a little bit, you are awake. Right? The transition. So you experience. Then you say that, you know, I was so tall, or I was so strong, or I was very rich. Something you say about yourself in the dream. After waking up, you're talking about it. So you experience yourself in that dream context. You are experiencing yourself in the current waking context. Similarly, I ask you, we don't think much about deep sleep, because the only thing is, if you don't sleep properly, you feel tired, then you say, I did not sleep well, or whatever. Then if you sleep very well, then you say, oh yeah, I slept very well, so peacefully. And then we don't analyze that experience enough. So analysis of the sense of self in the sleep is a little subtle, little deeper. So before we go there, let's get rid of this waking and dream. So in this context, I experience myself in all the contexts. Similarly, in the 5 levels of labeling: physical labeling, pranic labeling, mental labeling, intellect or will level labeling, and then me labeling myself as the experiencer, right? So all these labelings and all the roles in the life, in everywhere I am experiencing myself with label. Now, when you really analyze all these experiences, you see this self is continuous. The sense of self. I am the common factor in all these experiences. Experiences keep changing, but me as the basis of experience, the me as the awareness to whom the experience happens, I don't change. Here I am not telling I am aware. I am telling I am the awareness. There is a huge difference. I am aware of this laptop. I am aware of this room. Wherever you are sitting now, you are aware of your chair, you are aware of your body. I am aware of my body. All this I am aware of, I can objectify. Now I remove all that, all the objects in my field of awareness. You don't even have to close your eyes. Close your eyes, open your eyes, whatever you are aware of something. You are aware of yourself, being aware of something. This is the structure of every experience. In every experience, you are aware that you exist. Then you are aware of something through a process of awareness, right? So if you are focusing on some thoughts, you are concentrating on some thoughts and you are aware of some thoughts, right? Through the process of concentration, through the process of introspection. You are aware of some objects in your room through the process of objective awareness, through the process of sensory perception. So this is the process and you are aware of the object. So, and I am aware that I am seeing something. When you say, when I say you are hearing something, you are hearing my speech, you are hearing my voice. You are hearing my voice. You are aware that you are hearing my voice. You know what is 2 plus 2. You are aware that you know. You don't know what is the square root of 3445. You are aware that you don't know the square root. knowing, not knowing, aware of knowing, aware of not knowing. Right? I understand that I know, and I am aware of this process of understanding happening. So I, as the pure awareness, that is not conditioned by any of the labels, or I, as the quality of awareness on whom these various labels arise, come and go. It's like I am the screen in which the movies are projected. Right? You can consider like this. You are the screen in which movies are projected. Something like this. All the shades come and go on you, but you exist. Like a water surface, another example, common example given is, there is water surface, all the waves are coming, but the water is. The water is the base. The word used is adhishtanam. The water is the adhishtanam in which the waves come and go. Water is the base in which, base, no, not acid base. The water is the, I don't know if you can use the word substratum. I don't know the ontological usage of the word substratum. But the water is that in which the waves happen. Small wave, big wave, all waves are in water. But the water is common factor across all the waves. The water is always there. Without the water, the waves cannot happen. But the water can exist without the waves. Right? Similarly, without you, all these functional aspects of your individuality cannot exist. All these labels that you have put on yourself, all these labels cannot exist without you. But you exist even without any of these labels. This is a very simple understanding, right? And even, a small meditation can be useful for us. A very, very simple meditation. You say your name, right? That is one of the most fundamental levels where you experience yourself. Somebody calls your name, you immediately respond to that. Even in those movies like Insidious and all that, this name is so deep that it goes even after death, apparently. So they say that the spirit, that demon or spirit that possesses them, it will not reveal its name, because they say once you have the name of that spirit, you have complete control over that spirit. So the spirit will hide its name. And then finally, once it gets its name, once that conjurer or whoever gets its name, immediately the spirit can be controlled through commands, right? So because it attacks at the core of that. So this name is a very deep thing that all of us experience. I just told this for some fun. So this name is a very fundamental level where you experience yourself, right? You are, then you tell your name. Just mention your name, or tell somebody to call your name. Put some random module, you record your name in some tape, your voice or somebody's voice. Either a person whose voice is very irritating for you, or somebody's voice who is very pleasing for you. Ask that person to record, because it will invoke a good concentration. Somebody irritates you all the time, the moment you hear their voice, mind goes into extreme good focus. The same way, somebody's voice is very pleasant for you, also your mind goes into extreme focus. All I want here is focus, so I don't know how you come there, right? So record that in some random thing, there is not in a regular interval. Every 1 second, every 5 seconds mention my name. No, 5 seconds mention your name, then 2 seconds, then wait for 10 minutes, wait for 10-15 seconds, and then mention the name. Like that, you make a recording, and then you put your headphones and sit, play that. The name comes, then your sense of I comes. Every time the name is pronounced, your sense of I comes. Then switch. Once you get stable in the awareness of that dimension where your sense of I is invoked, right? Inside you, you can feel that sense of I am coming up when somebody calls your name. See if you can hold your attention in that place, and then the tape is over, the recording is over. Stay there, remove your headphones or stop it. Let me stay there. Now go back in time. You remember the last time, now then you remember yesterday, day before, go back 1 year before, 5 years before, what 10 years before, 15 years before. Go to the time, there was a point, your name was given, then there was a point before they gave your name. It's something like this regression practice, right? Just as an idea, just simply as an idea. I'm not asking you to go into some, go visualize yourself in a tunnel. I'm not telling that. Just simple idea. Okay, you were in LKG, they called you by your name, you remember something. And just think, there is a point before they gave you the name. You had no name. Just think of yourself before the name came. You are aware of yourself, just sense of I am. Now that would be an experience of your sense of self free from the label of the name. Right? Similarly, in every context, you can bring this discriminative awareness. This is how you meditate. You meditating on the Atman here basically means meditating on you as separate from what you are not. Basically, ascertaining what is not Atman. Anatma Nishchaya or Mithyatma Nishchaya, they say. Anatma is basically seeing the label as the label. So, in every context, what you can do, probably, speech and behavioral changes, you may not bring, better not to bring it everywhere. Like, you have these nice things about, habit that many sadhus have. They will say, they will not say, when I was 5 years old, or when I went to Kanyakumari, they will not say. They say, when this body was in Kanyakumari, when this body was 20 years old, like that they will talk. It's a way of talking which invokes the discriminatory practice, the practice where you are learning to see the body as not yourself. Now, constantly, it's called viveka. Now, you are awakening and sustaining this flame of viveka, which is non-identification. See, there is experience of self in every context. This is the key. There is experience of self in every context. But there is attachment to the habitual sense of self that is invoked in the context. There is attachment to the label which you have put over yourself with respect to that context. Label which you have put over yourself is the same as the habitual sense of self that is invoked by the context. Right? In every context, there is a sense of I that I am thinking about or feeling, or I am feeling about myself in a particular way that is defined by my relationship with the context. Correct? So now what I do is I use some words to, I may not tell outside, but I can mumble the word inside my own head. Every time somebody calls your name, you can say, the name is for this body, mind, intellect, for this person. Before I was this person, before this name was given, I was there. Past life, I would have been something else. Next life, I would be something else. In a different body, it would be something else. So this name is for this context of me experiencing myself in this, through this individuality, right? You don't have to tell this whole story. This is not me. Maybe something like that. You can create your own word. Now, everybody, everybody calls you. Every time somebody calls you by your name, what do you say? Me? Yeah, I'm here. When you say I am here, you can mentally tell yourself, this is not me. I am not this. You can just repeat it in the head. It's a practice. It's a kind of a nididhyasana. Nididhyasana is basically owning up the knowledge and reducing the grip of a habit pattern, reducing the grip that a habit pattern has over you. So this is in the buddhi. So the self-knowledge happens in the buddhi only, in the intellect only, as a continuous stream of non. This is the first level. Okay, this is viveka. Anatma, to an anatma nishchay, that is very becoming very clear about all that you are not, means none of the labels can have a grip over you. I am not getting too busy in in any context, right? So I am very caught up in different contexts. Probably you can choose the worst ones, wherever wherever you're most sentimentally attached. How they say in today's ikigai and all these self-help books, they say what defines you. They will ask you. So whatever you think it defines you, that every time you go somewhere, how do you tend to introduce yourself? And you feel that people should recognize you for this. This all this ego massage. Everybody wants ego massage. So you want people to recognize you for something. I remember very clearly when I used to come in the TV, this tendency used to come that I will assume that they already know me, because I used to come in the TV. I will assume that they will recognize me. Some places they will recognize, some places they will not recognize, and I can watch this tendency in the mind coming up, that that sense of expecting somebody to recognize me because I used to come in the TV very often, something like this. So I guess I heard this also from others who are these movie stars and whatever. So they, once they have been recognized a few times, that becomes a habit. So that is a self recognition is there. Similarly, each person will have something very strong tendency to be recognized or appreciated or something for something. Suppose if you cook a very good food, you would like to be appreciated for that, right? So choose one of these contexts that keeps repeating every day for you, where you want to be recognized for something, as something, right? So in that context, every time that comes up, you tell yourself, you are not this. This is only the context. This is not me. I have been before, I existed before this context started. I will continue to exist after this context goes. I am not the person in the context. The person in the context is there because of me. I am not this person. So you can just tell yourself, I am not this, not like that. So you choose certain very important, very egoistically very important situations, and there you disown your sense of identity that you have created through that. Just give it up. Simply give it up mentally. Mentally, you continue to perform the role because it may be your dharma, it may be necessary, but you mentally give up that attachment that you have for it. The importance that you associate to yourself defined by that context. You just give up that importance to your sense of self in that context. Just give it up. That can be a very good practice. Basically, this means the meditation on the self that is beyond the body, mind, intellect means meditation on the limitation of the body, mind, intellect. Freeing your sense of self from the attachment it has in all the context, the self definition it has in all the contexts that you have experienced yourself in the body, mind, and intellect. So that is what is viveka, and awakening the steady stream of non-identification, steady stream of non-identification with all the labels that you have put on yourself, starting with the most intense ones that you experience naturally. Because every time there is an intense everyday experience, it gives you a natural concentration. When it gives you a natural concentration, you don't have to sit and do pranayama and meditate and try to bring something in your awareness. It's already in your awareness. Somebody called you idiot and you don't want to feel as an idiot. When somebody calls you idiot, you feel bad. So when calls you an idiot, that you are identified, you feel small, you feel insulted or whatever, hurt, and in front of everybody, that's even better. So you feel terrible that he called you an idiot in front of everybody, and then huge thing comes up. Oh, that's fantastic. Natural concentration, meditate on that. Similarly, somebody calls you, oh, nothing like you are wonderful, or you are the best. A huge sense of expansion comes inside, right? You are not that. You can meditate on that. So all these contexts give you a natural concentration. Just the process of everyday life, there are moments where your sense of self is invoked in an intense manner than in other plain moments. So in those intense moments where you experience yourself, either in a positive way or in a negative way, just de-identify and just understand the difference between the pure self you and the self that is invoked by the context. You are not that. So that would be a way of meditation. And if you keep doing that, what changes it will bring in your behavior, etc. It's probably it will not make you so desperate. Your sense of desperation in situations will be less. Sorry, your sense of desperation in situations will be less, and it will be very easy to extricate yourself emotionally from any situation, and you will not be emotionally dependent on any situation for your happiness. That would be something that you will start noticing very soon if you do this diligently for one mandala, 48 days. You choose, like, it's like there are so many things that we have put on ourselves. So what I will advise is you choose a few things. One food, body level, for example, one part of your body where you have a huge complex. If you are a teenager and you have pimples, no, so whenever you see the pimple face, you see you are very ugly. Dissociate your sense of self from that. Or if you say, maybe there is some part of your body that you have a short neck, or you have a huge belly, or you don't have, you have a huge nose, whatever. When you look at that, then you say, this is not me. Every time. Or you have a beautiful, you just developed a nice, after workout in the, let me be positive, after workout in the gym, you have developed some nice biceps or something. Then you look at the bicep, and then you say, oh, this is not me, right? This is body level. Then at the prana level, every time you are thirsty, wait for 10 seconds. See that you are not the thirsty person, and then drink water slowly. Every time you're hungry, wait for a minute, 5 minutes, meditate on the hungry you, and then say you are not hungry, it is the body which is hungry. So, and after eating, the hunger is satisfied, see that you are not the one who is satisfied. Pranamaya, very simple. And Manomaya, every mood swings or emotions that come, angry, there is anger. I am not the one who is, I feel I am angry, but am I the one who is angry? I existed before this anger came. I was not the angry person before this anger started. And after the anger is over, you're going to see, oh, I still exist. I exist even after the anger is gone. So during the anger, you see, before the anger, I was not angry. After the anger, I am not angry. Now, how come I am the angry person? No, I am not the angry person. This anger comes and goes in me. I am not the angry one. Objectification of your angry sense of self, right? Non-identification. Manomaya. Vijnanamaya. Same, you don't know, you feel intelligent, you feel stupid, you feel like doing, you don't feel like doing, all this sense of doership, non-identification. The same logic applies to, I like it, I don't like it. I am sleepy, I am awake. Avastatraya prakriya. You sleep and you wake up in the morning. Oh, I am. Just stay with that sense of I am before you go into the world. I was somewhere else, now I feel I'm here. Before I came here, where was I? Like they ask you in the Inception movie, how did you come here? You have to ask in the middle of the dream. Like that, you ask yourself, you wake up from the dream or you sleep. How am I here? Where was I before? Just think about it. Spend a few seconds on that. You'll somehow experience your sense of self that is not defined by waking, dream, and sleep. Right? You can experience it. Literally, you can feel yourself, the one, that awareness that is not conditioned by sleep or waking state. You can experience that if you do this proper meditation on non-identification with the three avasthas, right? So that's how you meditate on the self that is beyond the body, mind, and intellect, by sustaining uh, sense of sustaining the wisdom of non-identification of yourself as the experiencer or the doer in every context of life, which you can meditate by choosing the most intense context that you experience in your everyday life can be a natural sources of concentration. And when you make it a habit, then it starts coming naturally. This discriminative inquiry starts coming, inquiry of which leads into non-identification. It starts awakening in your buddhi as a samskara. It becomes a samskara. Viveka becomes a samskara, and it will become your this non-identification. It starts becoming more and more steady, and then as you experience more and more freedom through this, the Mahavakya will start making more sense if you listen from a proper teacher. So with this, I will conclude the class and keep sending your questions. I have already one in the chat. Unable to see. Not. Right. It's only an appreciation. Okay. Thank you. So I will finish with the Purnamada and then we will meet next week. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vadishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tatsat. Thank you.